one of the things I'll speak to, as I get ready to take on this new project and this new body of work, is something that, I think you believe in, and that's just ongoing forward planning. One of the best ways to describe it, and I remember just kind of talking through this with someone recently. It reminds me of the days of college when at the top of the semester we would get the syllabus from our professor. And one of the skills that I've learned from, those that I was in class with and just picking up habit was to look at the syllabus and look at what's needed and due throughout the entire 8, 12, or 16-week semester and plan out what needs to be done by when. Of course, major assignments, um, planning and scheduling study time for major tests, intermediary assignments, and everything that had like a point system attached to it. There was moments where, particularly in undergrad, where there were things I didn't feel I was strong in, and I didn't want to invest the time in doing. So I identified things that I would consider a wash, and focus on the things that I knew I could really get my arms around and do. Because at that time, not only was I was in school, I interned every semester. I was in school from freshman year all the way up to graduating in as a senior. So my focus was like learning real skills, being on the marketplace, etc. And so to spend time mastering components of a course, or completing an assignment that I think would distract me or detract from what I was trying to accomplish, I didn't see the value. So the goal was to figure out, can I get an A? If not, can I get a B? And worst case scenario, will a C suffice, right? And if I'm going to target kind of the lower grade, C or B, then what do I need to do to max out my performance on the things that are on the syllabus, so that I can accomplish what I need to accomplish from an academic perspective, still learn something in the classroom, and then learn something in the field, which was, again, my priority. And school was like that testing ground, the supplementing of that. So whatever I learned in the classroom, the goal was to learn it and apply it immediately in the marketplace. And so the internships that I had were, in corporate environments where I could test these things out real time and seek to add immediate value with the goal of landing a job at the end of the 4 year period. So when we plan, and so I've developed this habit of planning ahead of, meetings or meetups or situations, just to get my thoughts out. Number one, number two, to begin to frame out my approach and my attack. Number three, when the day of comes, whether it's the testing period, whether it's the assignment due, and in the case of today, the test or the assignment is the meeting, right? Being prepared. I have an idea of what I want to see happen, what I want to accomplish, and then you add in there years of work and maturity and lessons learned, where I can, comfortably go into that meeting and go with the flow, whether it goes left or right, up or down, and still have a set of goals that I want to accomplish, because I've already planned it out. That's kind of where this has evolved into. And so, what I want to share with you is the importance of thinking ahead as much as possible, and being in a position where you can forecast as much as possible, and remove any of the barriers that can stand in your way. Focus on what you can control, focus on what you need to think about and what you need to contribute, and be so prepared that even if, for example, the person I'm meeting today is scattershot and all over the place, which could happen, um, I can handle the scattershot approach because I got my checklist, I got my plan, I got my action plan, I got the things I need to accomplish, and for the things that I don't have documented that will be new or unbeknownst to me or surprising, I got capacity to handle that too, because what needs to be accomplished, still is written down and focus, and will be a focus of the conversation. So this is something to think about, and this is an approach that we're taking with all of our projects. We've been taking this approach for quite some time, even when we get new projects with a client. Same approach when I was doing program management for nonprofits, and we would get the grant award letter, which likely was a 3 month window prior to actually getting the check or a 3 month window ahead of the program you're starting. The moment we got the award, we started planning. And really, I would say there are many cases where we started planning the moment we submitted the grant. And the reason for that is because we knew that a lot of the grants we pursued were in alignment with programming that we were already offering. The new funding that was there or that we were pursuing was going to be braided into what we already had. So we weren't really waiting for money, but we were in this space where we were always looking to add revenue to what we were doing to expand it, strengthen it, etc. And so again, I would lead my team to forecast and plan ahead of time. So even if we don't or didn't get the funding associated with that particular program, what ended up happening in many cases is that the plans were used for another concept that became a better concept, or it got better at what we were doing with that existing funding, etc. And so again, take the example with the syllabus, take the example with me looking out for in the semester, planning out my semester, and just putting infrastructure in place to be successful for the goals I'm looking to achieve. Because everybody will have goals they want you to achieve. The professor lays out a series of goals he wants you to achieve to get perfect score, right? And you got to do all these things. That's great. That's their goal. But as a student, as a person engaging, what are the goals you desire? And I told you, my goal was to take what I learned at school and apply it in the real world, test it, juxtapose it. And oftentimes I've learned that some things that we were learning in the classroom was a step or two behind reality. So then do I need to take this class seriously, as the university is saying, or do I need to just pigeonhole it? And I would tell you this: when I was in my doctoral program, all my classes were literally on the cutting edge of what was happening or needed to happen in the marketplace. So there was no gap in what I was learning and what I was applying. I did all the same planning. And so what made that experience so great for me and so amazing was that everything I studied, everything I learned, everything I wrote had real world applications for me, the work I was doing, and the work I was trying to build at the time. And there was zero latency there, absolutely zero latency. So I adored my doctoral program because it was real time learning and application. It's almost like, watching YouTube on a particular topic and then testing it and then going and see it happen in real life. And oh my God, that really worked. But then just add the academic rigor or doctoral program. And so all that to say, whatever project you're working on, whatever program you're working on, whatever concept you're working on, consider this approach. Begin to look forward, begin to think about what you're looking to accomplish, set your plans in motion, and allow room for flexibility because things are going to happen, life's going to happen, situations going to unfold that you didn't plan for and that you're completely unaware of, but you have an infrastructure to help guide you should things stay the course and or go left, but you know how to bring it back to where you need to be. Hope you find that helpful.